Hello everyone, welcome to City Skylines. I just wanted to do a quick video on just some fast tips on when you make a brand new city, when you're starting out fresh. Just some quick tips to kind of help out with that. So the first thing I always do is you only get one option for roads. It's a 2-lane road here. Build the smallest section as you can, then delete it. That will unlock a few more options, including the 2-lane dirt road. Now, this is what I use starting out when you do a new city. There's a couple of reasons why. When you do a new city, you're always going to be really strapped for cash through quite a few of the first milestones. So every little bit of money that you can save helps. And when you look at the dirt road, it's $20 a tile or a cell to run or to build, and then it's 19 cents a week per cell. You compare that to the regular road where it's $40 a cell to build and 32 cents a week for upkeep. Going over to the 2-lane road, 60 a cell to build, 80 cents a week to run, 80 and 96 cents. Can't even build that yet. So I always start off with dirt roads. It's a good cost-effective way to kind of start off your city. Now the other thing you're gonna have to do is kind of plan how you want to do your roads. You want like a big main road and then have arteries come off of that and then side streets, or you kind of got to figure out what you want to do to begin. Because you're doing this all with dirt roads, eventually you will upgrade them later, so you want to make sure you do stuff like, don't place your garbage dump on a road that's going to be a 6-lane, because you're going to have to empty it, then move it. It's going to be a hassle later on. So you kind of got to get an idea of what you want to do to start. So I'm thinking this will be a big road, and then we'll have maybe... that's an artery that'll come off it, and then we'll just have industry over here. Now you do kind of want to plan, I suggest, where you want your industry to be, where you want your residential and all that to be. So I'm going to say this will be industry over here for now. I'm thinking, we'll have our off-road here, and then maybe we'll have, this will be our commercial and our residential. So I'm thinking, again, you kind of got to figure out what roads you want to do. You can always change it later on, but it makes it easier if you kind of have an idea in your head, because then that'll just make it all easier once you do finally start to upgrade your roads. So my plan for now will be, this would be like a 6-lane, this will be like a 4-lane, and then all of these will be 2 lanes. Now, of course, you kind of gotta... we'll probably do a roundabout there later on, but for now, that's how people get into your city. So once you get that set up, we still have $51,600. I normally do the big power plant to start, just something like that. So you don't gotta worry about it for a while. Eventually, you can do the more green energy. Like these things are really nice, the ocean thermal energy conversion plants. Even the solar updraft towers are really nice. But for now, I do the big one because it'll last you a long time. You don't got to worry about it. And the other thing you want to do is your water pump. So I just do one to start. We'll do the intake there and the dump there. So you want to make sure you get all this stuff built relatively soon, because it's very easy to kind of go overboard building roads and then you have no way to get power or water to your city, and that really hurts, because then your city's pretty much done for because you can't get any power or water to it. So you do want to make sure you get that done right away. Now I've done this a few times. I kind of know what to look for in terms of how much money to spend. So I kind of have an idea of the wiggle room I have. And of course, you want to make sure you power it up. Get power to your pumps. You want that for sure. And now we got $13,000. You're always going to lose money at the start which again, money is always the toughest when you're just starting out, so every cent counts. So another trick we're going to do is we're going to go into our budget here, lower your power and water down as low as it can go, down to 50%. We're not going to use all this right away, so there's no point in having, I kind of goofed up there, but that's alright. You know, there's no point in having it maxed out if you're not going to use it all, so, you know, why bother with that? So you can kind of plan what you want to do for that. Of course, I have industry kind of separated. I probably should have moved this over more. That's just going to cost money to move it, so we'll just leave it for now. But when I upgrade this, see, this is the problem we're going to have now. When I upgrade this road to, say, a 4-lane, see what I did there? We're going to have to move that power plant because I goofed it up. If I was a bit smarter, I would have put it down there. And I'll be fine. I'm not too worried about money, so I think we'll be okay. But see, now I can upgrade that road, and it'll be alright. I have the room to do that. And then that'll give us room to upgrade to the 2 lanes later on. That's not going to be any issue for that. So then, once you do those things, you go ahead and start. And you want to make sure that everything's powered up. And everything's going good. Now what's going on down here? We see we have an issue. Oh, no we don't. We're good. So yeah, you want to make sure that everything's working the way it's supposed to. Your pumps have power. Everything has water and sewage going to it. You will have to watch kind of close what your power and water, especially your power to start. Your power is going to get used up faster than what your water will. But then that way, you won't have to build a new power plant right away, which again will just save you money. Now, see, we are losing money, but that money is starting to get some money here. So eventually we should be in the green. So again, you don't want to go into debt. So I'm kind of watching that closely. Kind of plan your expansions a bit. And again, pipes are very expensive. You know, what are they? 20 a cell, 8 cents a week to run. So you want to be sparse with these at the start. Later on, you'll want things like redundancy. So if you have an earthquake, meteor, sinkhole, if a pipe gets broken, you'll have a backup later on. But when you're first starting out, you kind of want to get just the bare minimum. Now, if you go straight like this, 440 is about as efficient as you're going to get for doing pipes. So if you want to be, you know, really, really frugal, 440 I think is what it was, right? Yeah, 440 is about as good as you're going to get for that. So that's the most efficient gap between the two. But it doesn't have to be perfect, but you don't obviously want to do, you know, like just really inefficient loops and all that to start. You kind of want to be very careful when you're just starting out. And then I'm going to show you one more thing here once we hit the milestone. So as you can see, our power's having issues. There's our first milestone. So we'll pause it real quick. We'll do a couple things. First, what we're going to do is I go up in increments to 25%. So it was at 50%. We'll bump it up to 75. So that should fix our power issue. See, we just skyrocketed. Water's still fine, as you can see. That's going to be good for a while. But then eventually we'll bump that up to 75% as well, and then we'll bump up to 100. Once it's at 100, it's really inefficient to go past that. You're better off building a new power plant or building a new water facility. So once we're at 100, we'll go ahead and do that. Now, for taxes, this unlocks after the first milestone. This, from what I've noticed, 12% is about as high as you want to go. I've had people say 14 is alright. I used to do 11, but I've lately tried 12. I think 12 is a good number. 11 to 12%. You want to go as high as you can without people complaining, because then they're going to leave town. They're not going to upgrade because taxes are too high. That's going to hurt you. But if they're lower than they need to be, that's money you're missing out on. Especially, like I said, early in the game, money is the toughest. So if we can get a few more bucks out, you know, at the start, that's going to really help us. Because if we had a disaster right now, you know, we'd be pretty big trouble. But now we can build. I like recycling centers. They're more expensive, but they actually do a couple things. Now this is with the Green Cities DLC, so I don't think this is, if you don't have that, it's included. But if you have Green Cities, you'll get the recycling center. So this will actually take raw materials out to the industry. So let's say your industry needs metal or wood, oil even. You won't have to rely as much on traffic coming in. So it kind of helps reduce traffic too coming into the city, especially, you know, this map we have the highway right here, but there's some maps where it's actually cut off. You don't have access to the highway, so you only have that one entrance. And of course you want to build your hospital, and again, I built that in the wrong spot. You got to remember, you're going to upgrade these roads eventually, so you know, put them somewhere that is not going to affect your upgrades later on. And I think if you do schools and all that, they do cost money to build, which can get really high, and they do cost money to run, but it makes your people happier, and it'll upgrade the buildings, which lets more people in, which will get you more money from taxes. So it does kind of, it pays for itself, essentially, and you will get more money from it than you put in. And there's our second milestone. So after this, that's really about it. I still, you know, recommend getting these services in, making sure that you're not putting them on the roads you're going to upgrade pretty soon. Once I have, usually when I get to we got right here, this milestone, and again, it varies on the size, on what land you have that's available to build on. So for me on this map, it's 5,500 for the busy town upgrade. It might be more or less for you depending on what map you pick. But once you get the road options like the trees, the decorative grass, the bike lanes especially, that's when I'll start to, alright, what am I going to do for real now? Now I'll start to upgrade the roads to what I want them to have. So I'll have it be a 6-lane. I might turn this into a roundabout. You know, do the arteries at 4 lanes and all that and kind of go from there. So like I said, now I have the option where if you're zoomed out, it turns off the warnings. So you see, I didn't see those power warnings right away. I see these guys have water issues, but if I zoom out, I can't see it. So it looks like we have to raise our budget for water as well. But once you get maxed out and once you build your second power plant and water setup, you don't have to watch it as closely. It's basically just until you get the maxed out in your first one built, you really got to keep an eye on it. But again, it saves you money. So when I first started playing this game, I spent every dollar I'd have at the start, and then as soon as you hit unpause, you're in debt, and you stay in debt for quite a while. And if something were to happen, like you need to build more power lines or a disaster hits, you're pretty much game over because you have no money to do that. And I think loans aren't even available until you hit the first milestone. So if early on you get screwed and you're not making any money and you have no room to build more, you're pretty much done. So that's about it, I think, for all the new tips. That's basically, again, you know, once you're kind of at this point, you see we're making it, again, you make less money at night than you do in the day. So we're making probably, you know, 1,200 to 3,500 a time unit here. And as we grow, we will make more. And you see the hours starting to upgrade. The bigger, the more upgraded they are, the bigger they'll get, the more people they can have in them. So that's also an inexpensive way to increase population without building. See, they just upgraded right there. So you don't have to build more roads or extra zones because they upgraded because they're so happy. See, they can have 3 households instead of just 2. So we can now have more people in the same spot. Same thing with high density. You know, you can have from 16 households up to 22 per upgrade or something like that. So stuff like parks, schools, things like that, they do end up being well worth it. But I think that'll do it for me. So thank you all for watching. Feel free to subscribe or like the video if you enjoyed it and haven't done so already. If not, that's alright too. But yeah, hopefully you all enjoyed. Hopefully we'll see you all next time.